Bigfoot, a 50-year journey come full circle, written by Dr. Matthew A. Johnson. I'm Willi Rose, and this is Chapter 5, The Media and Public Feeding Frenzy. I was on the phone with one of the producers for the Coast to Coast AM radio show. I said, "Wow, I can't believe that I'm going to be interviewed by Art Bell." She said, "No, Art Bell no longer does the show. You'll be interviewed by Mike Siegel instead." I responded, "Who's Mike Siegel?" She said, "He took over for Art Bell, and he's very good. You're going to like him. Also, he's so excited that you live in Southern Oregon, which is where we broadcast out of. So he wants to fly into Medford, Oregon, and interview you face-to-face at the station. Are you okay with that?" I said, "Sure, it sounds like fun." 1 week prior to the scheduled interview, my younger brother's friend, Matt Haverly, contacted me and said, "Your brother told me about your story. Wow, what an amazing experience." Then he asked the question, "So, he told me that you're going to make an appearance on the Coast to Coast AM show. What do you have set up to deal with the response?" I said, "I'm just going to give out my phone number and email address." He immediately responded, "No, are you kidding? There are going to be 1 million or more people listening to you. Are you going to be able to field that many emails and phone calls?" About 30 seconds of silence passed. Then I spoke up and said, "Well, I obviously haven't thought that far ahead." "No, apparently I don't have a plan. I don't know what to do." Matt responded, "I have an idea. Would you like to hear it?" I responded, "Sure. Please do tell." He suggested the following. You should put up a website with your story on it. You should also include pictures because people like pictures. This will take care of most people's curiosity. Then you can have your contact information there, just in case the media would like to get a hold of you. This way, you only have to give out your website address instead of 2 sources of information, such as your phone number and email address. "Matt," I responded, "that all sounds really good, but there's a couple problems with your idea." He said, "What problems are you talking about?" I said, "The Coast to Coast AM radio interview is going to happen in 10 days, and I don't have the time, expertise, or money to create and put up a website." He responded to me, "Oh, no problem. I'll do it for you. I know how to make a website, and I'll provide my services for free. It would be an honor to help you out. Besides, this is really cool, and I wanted to be involved." I asked, "Are you sure? You want to do this for free? You think we can get the website done and up and running before the Coast to Coast AM radio interview?" Matt responded, "I can do this. Actually, we can do this. We will need to do this because it's your website. You're going to be the man with the content ideas and the pictures. I'm simply going to be building the website. All I want out of this is to be involved with your research if you decide to go back up there in the mountains." I said, "Deal. I really appreciate you contacting me about your website idea, Matt. I was most definitely inadequately prepared." He said, "My pleasure. I'm looking forward to helping you out on this. It's going to be a cool website." During the next 10 days, Matt Haverly and I were staying up until about 2 a.m. every night talking on the phone and passing emails back and forth in order to hammer out the website and get it up and running. The website even included a chat room for interested people to ask me questions and participate in discussions regarding the Bigfoot phenomena. However, my favorite part of the website was the banning option that Matt created. If we ran into any trolls or haters who were creating problems on the website, we could hit the ban button, which placed a cookie on their computer. Thereafter, when they tried to go to our website after we banned them, they were automatically diverted to a Britney Spears versus Mr. T website. It was hilarious. Eventually, people were figuring it out and simply removed the cookie from their computer. Some website participants were begging us to ban them so they could experience the automatic rerouting adventure. Too funny. It was time to drive the Grants Pass to Central Point, Oregon to do the Coast to Coast AM radio interview with Mike Siegel. Matt Haverly and I had worked hard and completed the website on time. All I had to do was pass out the website address. The drive was only a half hour long. I was very scared and nervous to be doing a face-to-face interview, yet also very excited. Mike was also excited to meet me, shook my hand vigorously, and said that he believed me and considered me to be one of the most credible Bigfoot witnesses that he had ever met. We sat down in front of the two microphones, and he instructed me as to how to properly place the headphones on my head and how to speak into the microphone. The interview commenced. Several hours later, I was driving back home and my brain was processing what had just happened. What a whirlwind ride that interview was. Mike Siegel did a wonderful job of interviewing me, slowly but surely bringing out the facts, while also being very sensitive to the emotions that the interview was bringing out in me. There was much laughter as well as tears expressed during the interview, but the thing that was really overwhelming me was trying to anticipate what kind of response the interview was going to generate afterwards. Well, Matt Haverly was correct. The website received hundreds of thousands of hits. Most people were simply satisfied with checking out what I had to share in print and by looking at some pictures. Others signed up for and started participating in the chat room on the website. However, as a result of the Coast to Coast AM radio interview with Mike Siegel, I was contacted by many other media agencies. For an example, I was contacted by the Sci-Fi Channel, the Travel Channel, the ESPN2 channel, the Animal X program, the In Search of program, CNN Headline News, the Real Scary Stories program, the BBC, ABC Radio, and over 200 radio programs from all over North America. I'll share more later on about some of my media experiences and other interviews. For now, suffice it to say, it was a real fun experience, and there was most definitely a learning curve involved regarding the entire process. What caught me off guard was how some of the members of the Bigfoot research community responded to my family's encounter and to the attention that the media was choosing to give to me. I had Matt Moneymaker from the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, BFRO, wanting me to direct all media inquiries to his organization. I told him, "No, Matt, I'm not going to do that. This is my story, not your story. However, I would be more than happy to direct them to you for some supplemental interview information to round out my family's story." Although he wasn't pleased with my response, he agreed to participate in a limited capacity. I must say that I did appreciate the fact that he took me under his wing initially and walked me through the Bigfoot experience. My family met with him for breakfast once while we were vacationing in Southern California. We also met with him for lunch on another occasion while we were in California. He was very kind to my wife and children. On the other hand, other experiences with Bigfoot researchers were not so positive. I was invited to participate in Bigfoot email listservs. This was before the advent of Facebook. I was viciously attacked without any moderating from the listserv admins. I was accused of making up the story. I was accused of putting the website together before the encounter until someone went online and learned that the website was created after my family's encounter. I was accused of making up the story as a marketing strategy in order to gain more clients in my private practice. Yeah, right. Like that's a good marketing strategy. Come see me. I'm the psychologist who saw Bigfoot. Like that was going to generate a lot of new clients for me. Give me a break. The fun didn't stop there. I was accused by some Bigfoot researchers of manipulating the media to contact and interview me. How silly is that? Like I had some kind of magical powers to make the media contact me and interview me? Others were angry at me and wanted to know why the media was talking with me, a newbie, instead of talking with them. After all, they had a lot more years in the forest than I had. In short, there were a lot of jealous individuals with bruised egos who couldn't understand why they weren't getting the attention. In retrospect, here's what I think happened. It was the perfect Bigfoot storm. In other words, I think that my family's encounter with Bigfoot drew so much media attention for the following reasons. One, it happened in a national park. For instance, the Oregon Caves National Monument Park. Number two, the encounter involved an entire family, not just an individual. 3, the witness involved a licensed clinical psychologist, me. And 4, the evidence was confirmed by a national park forest ranger, John Roth. Apparently, all of the above combined together generated a lot of interest from a variety of media agencies at a level never seen before in the Bigfoot research community. The emails and phone calls continued to come in as time passed. The coolest and shortest exchange of emails that I received was from Dan Aykroyd, one of the stars in the original Ghostbuster movies. He asked me questions about my family's encounter, how we all responded, why I chose to make the decision to continue the loop as opposed to going back down the way we hiked up the mountain, how everyone in my family was doing now, and what were my plans for the future. He graciously thanked me for taking the time to respond to his questions, and then I never heard from him again. One of the classiest Bigfoot researchers that I had the pleasure of meeting was Derek Randles, the founder of the Olympic Project in the state of Washington. He owns his own landscaping business, which affords him the time and money to pursue his passion of Bigfoot research with his many friends. Shortly after my family's Bigfoot encounter, he drove 400 miles south from the Olympic Peninsula to southern Oregon to interview me. We took a walk along the Big Tree Loop Trail above the Oregon Caves National Monument Park, and I pointed out to him where we smelled the pungent odor, heard the Bigfoot parallelists along the trail, and where I saw it. Derek was very inquisitive, kind, gentle, supportive, and encouraging. Upon completion of our time together, he rated my encounter and subsequent testimony as a 10 on a scale from 1 to 10. That was quite the confirmation and compliment. Derek Randles is a class act. On the other hand, my not-so-favorite exchange of communications occurred between myself and a gentleman named Eric Beckjord. He was on the fringe of Bigfoot researchers. I was new to the research field, and I was learning from others. They identified him as a crazy kook who believed in the woo-woo abilities of the Bigfoot species. When I asked for clarification, others told me that he was crazy because he believed that the Bigfoot species had paranormal abilities and were able to manipulate quantum physics and mechanics. I was told that people like Eric Beckjord was discrediting serious Bigfoot research and setting the field backwards by decades. Because of people like him, the scientific community would never take us real Bigfoot researchers seriously. I was warned to stay away from the likes of Eric Beckjord. What I'm about to describe went on and on for over half a year. He would email me several times a day. He would make fun of me on his website because the media was coming to me for information instead of going to him. Finally, he literally called my private practice office about 50 times per day. My secretary quickly learned the tone and pattern of his voice and would hang up on him. However, he was very creative at times and would manage to disguise his voice and trick my secretary into forwarding his call into my office. When I would pick up the phone, he would yell over the phone to me, "Matt, they're in the trees! They're in the trees!" I would respond, "Eric, you need help, and I'm not going to provide it for you. Please stop calling and emailing me. If you don't stop, I will have my attorney file stalking charges against you, and I will sue you." Eventually, he stopped and left me alone. Unfortunately for him, he died of cancer a few years ago. In spite of some of the trolls and haters, I was viewed and treated as a hero by most everyone in the Bigfoot community, which I later dubbed as Bigfootdom, like the kingdom of Bigfoot members, which consists of researchers, armchair enthusiasts, and lurkers. They appreciated the fact that I was willing to put it all on the line in order to come out and share publicly about my family's Bigfoot encounter. The appreciative emails still come almost 2 decades after the Bigfoot encounter. It's such a privilege and honor to read so many positive and encouraging emails from kind people with good hearts. However, eventually the Bigfoot encounter started having a negative impact on my family. My ex-wife and children began to grow tired of the endless inquiries from the various media agencies. We would spend all day out in the mountains shooting an episode for their program. I'm talking hours and hours of filming. Then when we would sit down and watch the TV program once it aired, most of the filming hit the editing room floor. I was the main focus of the interviews while they showed very little footage of my wife and children. They began to rebel and asked to opt out of future interviews. It was a very fair request. Although it was frustrating for the media agencies who wanted to include the entire family, the cost-benefit analysis wasn't worth it for the rest of the family. That's the end of Chapter 5. Stay tuned for Part 2,
The Old School Paparazzi Money Shot Approach.
That's Chapter 6, starting out the expedition to Mount Elijah. Again, Bigfoot, The 50-Year Journey Come Full Circle is written by Dr. Matthew A. Johnson. I'm Willi Rose.